I'm going to start to react to this stuff. Because that's what we are supposed to do! Bring in those views!
So somebody had to do it.
Let's go! Return of the Silicon Valley's greatest fraud. I don't know what this is, but we will find out.
It's showtime.
New here at 11, convicted Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes says she plans to get
Theranos fine. I don't know what this is. This is some American stuff.
Released from prison.
In an interview with People...
Okay, she's been in prison. I don't know the backstory of this, but I guess this is the backstory. She's been to prison. She's had a company. That's that's all we know right now.
Magazine, Holmes revealing there's not a day that she hasn't continued working on her research and inventions from behind bars, saying that she's committed to her dream of making affordable healthcare solutions.
Okay, it's a healthcare scam.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That has been popular now since, you know, I guess it's even worse in America. Because I heard some stuff there because it's a scam and whatnot, but you know, during COVID or after COVID, this has been, you know, crazy.
Solutions available to everyone.
The partner of Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes has raised millions of dollars for an artificial intelligence startup.
First they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then...
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
I need to practice my voice, I think.
Artificial intelligence startup.
First they think you're crazy, then they...
Thursday, think you're crazy. Oh, I need to start talking. You know, maybe you guys could stay on the stream if I started to talk like this, because I talk a little bit like this. And that's a little bit, you know, headache. It's just a touch of headache.
Fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world.
Okay, so she thinks she's gonna save the world, but maybe she's just here for the money. Just maybe. I don't know yet. I don't know anything.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion. The story of Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes was one of the...
For your information, I have never in my life heard about this company. I have never in my life heard about this woman. I have never in my life heard about anything surrounding this person. Maybe this is an American thing.
Most popular videos...
Because as you can hear and as you can see, I am European. I am from Europe.
...I've ever done. It's racked up 12 million views to date. Since then, there's been movies and documentaries made about her. She's become a cultural phenomenon of sorts. You'd think...
How come I've never seen this lady? It's very random. The inventor Out of Blood in Silicon Valley, Hulu, The Dropout. She had the world at the tip of her finger. Is it just me? I don't know.
And documentaries made about her. She's become a cultural phenomenon of sorts. You'd think that by raising $945 million from investors and getting valued at $9 billion based on misleading and false technology.
Send over just, you know, it would do 1 billion, that's okay. 1 billion, you know, it doesn't even have to be dollars. It can be Swedish SEK, you know, Swedish crowns. I would be happy with that. That's just a small amount of this. It's not too much to ask for, in my opinion.
Would have been enough to keep investors staying miles away from her. But I guess in 2025, anything can happen because Elizabeth Holmes is back.
She's back.
Well, kind of. More specifically, she's involved in the healthcare industry again. This episode will be done in 2 parts.
Okay, so if she's been to jail, she's been, you know, it's been controversy after controversy, I guess. How can they let these people in again? Like this one in?
Daddy, chill.
The first is the story of Theranos 2.0 and how on earth it's getting investment. The second part is the flip side to all of this. Ironically, over time, as technology has progressed, the idea of detecting health problems with just a single drop of blood has become possible, and this is thanks to new research and AI. It sounds crazy.
Whoa, AI.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
But, you know, maybe it's a bigger part of everything, the investors and all that stuff. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we doesn't know about and maybe we should not know about. So maybe. Why can't we just keep together? It's good. And maybe it's bad. This video will show us what's... So we can make our evaluation on how it is.
But maybe...
I guess it's gonna be negative. Detecting cancer in minutes possible with just a drop of dried blood and new test study hints. You know, all these studies that does this, it can be 50 years in the future or never. You know, study hints. Of course, you know, they can build a new colony on the moon as well, but you know, when is that supposed to happen? Now or in 2,000 years? How should you know? How should we know that this is study hints? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Is it in 300 years? We will never know because they will never tell you. It's just clickbait titles like YouTubers and me. Especially me.
Research and AI. It sounds crazy, but maybe by the end of this episode, you have to think to ask yourself, what if it legitimately works this time?
Yeah, it would be great. I guess.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
In 2022, Elizabeth Holmes was convicted of defrauding Silicon Valley in what can only be described as a spectacular...
Okay, for you Americans, where is Silicon Valley? Is that outside of Los Angeles? Or is it San Francisco? I don't know. It has to be Hollywood, like outside of... Or is it in Hollywood? Like just a valley in Hollywood or something? I need to have a look at that after this.
Disaster. She's now serving 11 years in prison. Why? 2. Elizabeth Holmes was convicted of defrauding Silicon Valley in what can only be described as a spectacular disaster.
Defrauding Silicon Valley. So is Silicon Valley, is that a business? Or no, it can't be a business. Oh, roast me in the comments. That's completely fine by me.
She's now serving 11 years in prison.
11 years plus.
Well, she lied and put lives at risk with a promise to revolutionize the biotech industry while live-action role-playing as Steve Jobs, basically. In a nutshell, she claimed to have built a machine called the Edison that could test for a myriad of diseases, all from a single drop of blood. A feat that was more than impossible in the late 2000s.
It's not late 2000s anymore, but maybe this was when she did it, I guess.
Holmes roped in big investors throughout Silicon Valley. She lied her way to stardom, securing deals with large...
This is the move about her, I guess, because this ain't she, this is an actor. I don't know why I try to explain this, because it just feels like I'm really stupid. Maybe I am. I have told you this before, I have 2 brain cells, one working overtime.
In big investors throughout Silicon Valley. She lied her way to stardom, securing deals with large companies like Walgreens, all the while in the background.
Sorry for stopping all the time. Who is Walgreens? I don't think we have them here.
Her product didn't work. Patients were unknowing guinea pigs as they received false diagnoses. By the end, Holmes had close to $1 billion in investment from huge names like Rupert Murdoch and Larry Ellison. Her board of advisors was adorned with heavy titans like Henry Kissinger. The White House invited Holmes, and the magazines loved her. Meanwhile, she ordered her employees to fake the Edison's test results to buy more time, but
Why does these people get away with this? You know, they can just bribe. They can bribe, first of all, and then they can threaten you, and then they can just, basically these 2. I guess they can do more as well, but that's the most popular ones, I think.
Time eventually ran out when insiders blew the whistle. But now, her name is in the headlines again. In February of 2025...
It almost doesn't look like the same person if you see down there to the... Where can you see? Down there and up here. But I guess it's the angle and everything, because it doesn't really look... But maybe, you know, it can be a conspiracy. Maybe it's another person. Maybe this is like... she died and then they replaced her with a copy, with a clone. Conspiracies flying left and right. That's what we do.
Holmes, now 41, told People magazine that she's been writing...
Okay, so why was the age here relevant? It was like, we haven't heard about her age till now. Like, now, 41. Oh, okay.
2025. Holmes, now 41, told People magazine that she's been writing patents from prison. After her release, she wants to get back into biotech, and she's busy.
This is the only thing that can't get AI generated. You know, the court paintings. Those are too iconic. I hope they don't get AI, because if this is a lot of jobs for artists, you know, sitting there and just painting people in the courtroom. And it's pretty weird because you have the technology for the cameras, but I guess they don't want it on, you know, so people can. But I don't really know why they do it, because it's. I guess it's because they don't want it to be recorded, because it can get spilled or whatever on the internet or to some person. And a painting is a painting, you know, it can't be more than a painting. But yeah.
After her release, she wants to get back into biotech, and she's busy writing new patents for new inventions while behind bars. But there's a massive problem with that plan. The Securities and Exchange Commission has banned her from serving as an officer or director of any public company.
She's banned.
So that's game over.
It's game.
Right? Well, not really. She may not be able to run a public company, but she sure can help run a private company. And this is where her partner comes into play. While in the midst of her federal investigation tribulations.
Should I say it? This looks like a perfect cover for a horror movie.
No.
It does. We're gonna look at it for a couple of seconds, and I think you will agree with me. I agree with this. Look at it. You know, this is the, you know, the wealthy couple that kills people in the horror movies.
You want to play a little game?
While in the midst of her federal investigation tribulations, Holmes found love in the form of Billy Evans.
Billy Evans.
A then 30-year-old heir.
Isn't Billy Evans, isn't that jazz guy?
Holmes found love in the form of Billy Evans, a then 30-year-old heir to a California hotel fortune. Together, they would have 2 kids who she sees twice a week for 2 hours. While behind bars in a Texas prison, her partner is carrying the biotech mantle. Billy Evans is actively raising money for his own bio company, Hemanthus. Hemanthus describes itself as, quote, the future of diagnostics and a radically new approach to health testing. In a move suspiciously reminiscent of Theranos, the company wants to scan for diseases using bodily fluids. Even their initial testing machine looks similar to...
But wasn't this the same that she did? Bodily fluids, but maybe she just did blood or something, but it's the same thing, but maybe he has taken her technology and tried to make something out of it, I guess, because newsflash, they are a couple.
Diseases using bodily fluids. Even their initial testing machine looks similar to Theranos' Edison machine. But there's a catch. This time, it's been run by, you guessed it,
AI.
Artificial intelligence. And that's according...
Thank you. AI. You know, this is the... Every company loves this thing now. You know, sometimes I even think it's not AI. It's just something they put on there because it sounds futuristic and smart. But what do I know? I'm just a guy babbling on the internet.
To marketing materials reviewed by the New York Times. According to this marketing material, the Hemanthus device...
Great song though. I can't even focus on what he's saying. Listen to this.
According to marketing materials reviewed by the New York Times. According to this marketing material, the Hemanthus device will use a laser to scan blood, saliva, or urine and analyze the samples on a molecular level. In just seconds, a deep learning model can be used to detect cancer and other issues.
But let's be real. Do you really think that they would accept this? I think that, you know, they can cure cancer, they can cure everything and whatever, but they don't earn money on it, so they just gonna shut it down. Same with this. I think it's gonna get shut down, or they're gonna do like, we can cure it, or we can see it, you know, but it's still, you're still gonna have to they're still not gonna have to fix it. I think it's just gonna have you're gonna go on pills, or you're gonna go regular on the hospital or whatever. They're not gonna fix it with just a simple step, because I think that's they don't earn any money on that, so they not gonna do it. My opinion.
So far, they've been granted one patent. As crazy and fraudulent as this sounds on the surface, especially with the mention of AI, it might not be as bung an idea as you first think. You'll clearly see why later in the episode.
Ooh,
to achieve all of this, they're using a method called Raman spectroscopy. It's something that's been used in chemistry for close to a century. Basically, how it's done today is that you shine a laser on a molecule, and from the way it vibrates, you can tell what that molecule is. The technique can help diagnose ALS, as well as some forms of cancer.
But can you can detect ALS, but is that just so you can what do you call it? Not cure it, like proceed to with the medicine like earlier, because I don't know if there is a cure for that disease.
Problem
I don't think so.
It's a very manual process, just ripe for automation. But all you need to remember is the term Raman spectroscopy for later in the episode. The thing here, though, is according to two investors who were pitched the idea, Hemanthus is starting with animals. Pets, to be specific.
Doggos.
And I hate to say it, but it's a pretty smart move. Less regulation, and there's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It just turns...
But, they have tested humans forever as well. They have done tests, and they probably still do. And they do in some countries, but they probably still do in Western countries as well, but you don't know about it, because these guys is signing up, not a petition, but like signing stuff, and then they get money and they get tested. You can call me the conspiracy king.
Stop it. Get some help.
Turns out that cancer screening for pets is a booming business, a multi-billion-dollar booming business.
Yeah.
Healthcare investment bank Edgemont Partners described it as a recession-proof industry. Okay, so after...
Yeah, but then they can't... I don't know how... Because here in Sweden, it's a little bit harder regulations on animals and stuff, but I guess they're not going to change it in America, because then they make less money. Just listen to how much they made. It was a multi-billion industry. Should I say more? No, I should not.
Healthcare. Then what? Well, the end goal for Hemanthus is to create a relatively cheap, wearable health scanner for humans. They're claiming that they need 3 years and $70 million to make it happen.
I need a small budget of $70 million. We can make it happen. You know what I could make it happen with $7 million? You could delete me from the internet. That would be great, va? That would be... You would love that, would you? Wouldn't you? I would love it. I would just go off-grid, into the woods, into the woods, never see anyone again, and just... I don't need 7 million for that, but 70 million or billion or whatever. But it's good to have, some pocket change.
Aside from the Elizabeth Holmes connection, it's going to take a lot to convince investors. Before this company, Evans worked at Lumina Technologies, a company that describes itself as, quote, producing advanced sensor technologies for the autonomous vehicle industry. So, no medical experience there. But, to counteract his lack of experience in the field, Hemanthus told investors that it roughly has 20 advisors, including veterinarians and diagnosticians. The company has around 10 employees so far.
It's a small business then. If it's just, it's bigger than most. But, in terms of the last business she had, this is a small one.
NPR, Evans has already raised millions of dollars, so he must be one heck of a talker. But the question must be asked, who is investing in this company?
That's the question.
It's an interesting question. Just who would give a Theranos-adjacent company?
This looks like, Love Island. They're going to cast Love Island, but this is Healthcare Island.
Money. Well, as you would expect, investors aren't exactly jumping on the opportunity. Michael Dell's investment firm promptly rejected the offer. Early investor in Facebook and VC manager said that they're going to skip, quote, for many of the same reasons we passed twice on Theranos. In diagnostics, we've long held that the difference between a compelling story and a great company lies in scientific defensibility and clinical utility.
Sure. But, if they didn't support the last business that his wife had, I guess they're not going to support this one because they know she went to jail. So maybe it wasn't too good of a business.
Unquote. But like a child's chocolate fundraising run, you can always count on friends and family to come through. So that's what Evans did. Evans began by soliciting $3.5 million in funding from friends and family, and is looking...
I wish I could do fundings with 3.5 million from friends and family. Hit me up. We could do a fundraiser for me. 3.5 million is the minimum goal. The minimum goal of the fundraiser.
For 15 million more in wealthy areas of San Fran and Austin. The New York Times could only track down one investor, Matthew Parkhurst. He helps run a tapas bar in Austin. Not exactly the kind of person you would expect to invest in such a thing, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, so what's the flip side here? Why isn't the idea that Hermanthus is trying to do as fanciful as it first might seem?
We will find out.
Interestingly, the timing might be right. Artificial intelligence...
Deep learning and artificial intelligence methods for Raman and surface...
is pushing the field of Raman spectroscopy forward, and this is where things get more nuanced. With AI, a simple blood test can now accurately detect cancers.
Smart man. We have watched a documentary here, and I don't even know the main word of the story.
And we've actually covered the full story on this channel before. But to give you an idea of the significance of this development, here's a quote. We have a simple blood test that could be done in a doctor's office that would tell patients whether they have the potential signs of lung cancer and should get a follow-up CT scan. End quote.
That's good.
And that's not Bob the Scammer talking. That's the author of a Johns Hopkins study on the topic, Dr. Victor Velkolesu. His position is Professor of Oncology and co-director at the Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center.
That sounds great.
This all means earlier detection and saving countless lives. Lung cancer is one of the deadliest cancers, so this is an absolute breakthrough.
So what's the problem here? I don't think it's... But maybe he comes to the problem later.
AI and early detection from blood is also working in other types of cancers. So more specific to Hermanthus, scientists in China at the Medical University in Beijing have successfully used Raman spectroscopy in combination with AI. The very same technique that Hermanthus is using. The results of the Chinese study were 99.7% accuracy in melanoma cell detection and 97.9% accuracy for bacterial infections.
Great.
Another paper in the US did a similar thing.
And I guess that's just 100%. Like the 97% is 100%. You're 100% sure of that one. But the other ones is probably it can be a hit or miss. The last percent. So maybe it's even higher if you get what I mean. I'm babbling.
Showed similar results. But with all of that being said, going from working science to an actual product isn't easy, and that's where most companies of this type fail, so we'll have to see what happens.
The ghost of Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
There's no getting around it. Although there may be scientific evidence to say that what Hermanthus is trying to do isn't completely crazy, the ghost of Holmes is going to haunt this company. Theranos was just such a clown show when the scam unraveled. On the 11th of May 2025, the Hermanthus company spoke. On its X account, the company wrote, quote, "Yes, our CEO, Billy Evans, is Elizabeth Holmes' partner. Skepticism is rational. We must make a clear high bar. We prefer to build first, talk later. The science, when ready, will stand on its own merits. This is not Theranos 2.0, end quote. So do you believe them? That's up to you. But in totality, it's a less than black and white story. The ghost of Holmes and her shadow can't be ignored, but the science is pretty...
I guess she's still in prison then. But her mister is doing this anyway.
Solid, and others are working on similar technology and are showing some real promise. So only time will tell.
Time will tell.
As for Holmes, she's going to stay in prison for another 7 years. In recent weeks, her last appeal...
I just talk stuff and he says it directly after. Maybe I should just...
appeal was rejected. So what do you guys think? It really is an interesting set of events, so feel free to discuss in the comment section below.
Discuss everything
As you've seen from this episode, AI is a lot more than just generating text and images from prompts. It's making real breakthroughs in the medical field. But Have you ever wondered how exactly AI works? That's where today's sponsor, Brilliant.org,
Now the
comes
sponsor.
in.
Okay, the other
Brilliant.
one wasn't a sponsor then. This is just a sponsor. Yeah, I don't know. I think it can be. If it's good, it's good. Who knows? If it's bad, it's bad. Hopefully, but as I said, I'm not overly confident that they're gonna make maybe make this stuff so like they are supposed to do it, like detect sicknesses and stuff, but not heal them in that regard, I don't think. But yeah, let me know what you think. And for those who watch YouTube, see you in the next video.